sorry, I had explosive diarrhea. Oh wait, you can't. Oh, you can hear me. Yeah, that's why it took so long. I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna take a simple little shit before starting the stream, and then yeah, I had an explosion on the toilet for 10 whole fucking minutes. So that was nice. Really put me into a good mood, you know? Wow. Wow, I love shitting. Wow. But anyways. Shall we continue? Let me check some settings. Okay, that should be good. That should be groovy. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Oops. I'll make sure to put a timestamp after I'm done shitting my guts out. Or brains out. Because I don't have a brain. It was a bit too crowded, so I had to get rid of the posse. You know how it is. Yeah. The audio should be good. I tested it beforehand. It should be groovy. Okay. Okay. Shall we? Don't remember what the fuck happened last time. I think we finished the Weird Doctor arc, right? Yeah. So I guess we're gonna focus a bit more on Taku. No. Yeah. Okay. Thanks to Taku's thorough treatment, I recovered steadily. While I convalesced, Eiji called me and apologized for giving me false information about Asakura. Oh! He had told me there was proof of Asakura visiting a child brothel, but apparently that was untrue. Oh, so he's not a pedophile. When Eiji investigated further, he learned that the eyewitnesses had only seen him loitering outside of the brothel. No one had actually seen him go in. As someone who had always loved children, the unfounded suspicion had made him paranoid. Oh. Hayato's behavior towards him was only ever that of a child seeking love from a parental figure. Oh, so he's not a pedophile. Oh, okay, so, come back, kitten. It was getting kind of lonely here, so I brought a friend. He was love-starved, and perhaps it was that innocent desperation that captivated Asakura in the first place.
子供って無垢な天使のようで無邪気な悪魔になることもあるのよね。本人の意志とは関係なくね。
Sometimes kids are little angels, and sometimes they're little devils, but in the end, they're still just kids. This was a comment Ray made when he and Taku came to check on me while I was recuperating. Taku got a hard look on his face and fell silent. Sorry, I remembered I had to turn something off. He was probably thinking of Hayato. After all, Hayato was a victim too. And Taku probably had a lot of feelings on the subject since he cared for the boy. But something didn't feel right. Indeed. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something was bothering me. As I gazed at Taku's wavering smoke, I narrowed my eye and mulled it over. Slow damage. Yeah. Mom? Mom, no. How could I? It's my fault. Is this Toa trauma? Fuck! Why? Why did I? I never meant for this to happen. Ugh. Chapter 3. VOICED Takuma. Nostalgia. Oh. Yeah. 1 p.m. 2 days after Asakura's euphoric episode. The cuts on my back still hurt, but now that I was able to walk again, it was time to start painting. As I was taking stock of my paints, the door opened and Taku walked in wearing a lab coat. The second he laid eyes on me, he frowned and folded his arms.
もう起き上がっても平気なのか。痛みは
You sure you should be out of bed? How's your pain level?
まあそこそこ
Medium. At my response, he let out an exaggerated sigh.
本当は平気じゃないんだろ。
Be honest, you're not doing so good, are ya, buddy? Wow, I sounded really Canadian there. Once I had granted my model's wish, I always headed to the canvas, no matter what fresh injuries I was sporting. Wanted to get it out while the image was still fresh in my mind. Very fair. When I was in art mode, there was no stopping me. Taku understood that, which is why he didn't try to force it. He fell silent but didn't leave the room, just stood there with a bitter look on his face. Clearly, there was something more he wanted to say. Suspicious, I continued setting up, then finally he opened his mouth to speak.
俺は朝倉がお前に対してやったことは本当に許せない。許せないんだが。
I really don't think I can forgive Asakura for what he did to you, but...
それとは別に朝倉が苦しんでいたことについて理解できないわけでもないんだ。
At the very least, I can understand that the guy was really struggling. I froze and looked at him. Where did that come from? He stared at his feet.
朝倉は隼人君を放っておくことができず、結果として入れ込みすぎてしまった。
Asakura was too attached to Hayato-kun, and as a result, he got too involved.
本来、医者は患者に対して常に客観的で冷静な距離を保たなきゃならない。
Normally, a doctor is expected to remain objective and keep a certain distance with all his patients.
朝倉はそれができなかった。だが、 医者だって人間だ。どれだけ冷静でいようとしても感情に飲み込まれてしまう時もある。
Asakura couldn't do that. But at the same time, doctors are only human. You can try to be rational at times, but your emotions are gonna overtake you sooner or later.
魔が差すというのかもしれんが、
Maybe he was led astray by temptation.
それがいつどのタイミングで訪れるかなんて誰にもわからない。自分でもな。だから
No one knows.
つまり何が言いたいのかというと、
Bro, make up your mind. Are you gonna speak or no? Fuck. No one knows when those moments will strike. Not even you yourself. So, basically, what I'm trying to say is...
朝倉を全否定することはできないって話だ。
I can't completely hold it against him is all. Hesitantly, he rubbed the back of his head.
いや、すまん。なんでこんなことお前に話してるんだろうな。
Anyway, sorry. I don't know why I brought it up. Then he turned and left the room. A doctor overtaken by emotions. To me, that described Taku more than anyone else. Was it just the Asakura incident? Maybe he could personally relate to the struggle of a fellow doctor. All the more proof that life was easier when you didn't care about anything. With that thought, I went back to setting up my easel. So damage. The world was blurry, like the view from underwater. Vaguely, I could tell that the scarlet light was rippling. Apparently, I was lying down. I tried to get up and discovered that I couldn't move. My limbs were practically frozen solid. I was powerless and deafened by the silence. I was scared. Just then, I sensed someone standing behind me, but I couldn't turn to see. Meanwhile, the pressure continued to grow and grow, threatening to engulf me. I tried to scream, but I couldn't even open my mouth. All I could do was tremble as the fear roasted me alive. I could feel laughter rippling through the air, near and far. I couldn't tell if the voice was loud or soft. All I could do was tense up my throat and stomach and try to endure it. I was powerless. Three days after I started painting Asakura. I really like gray with red. It's a nice combination. This probably would be very striking in person. The red could be like his desire that's like overflowing, and then After days of barely eating or drinking, I finished my piece and staggered out of my room on December 31st, New Year's Eve. The clinic had closed for the winter holidays. Nevertheless, Taku was always on the first floor just in case I needed something, and Ray came by almost every day. When I went downstairs, I found Taku and Ray sitting in the waiting room. They rose to their feet and rushed over to me. Oh, Mom, Dad!
Toa, 大丈夫？全然大丈夫そうじゃないけど大丈夫？
Toa, are you okay? Okay, seriously, you super don't look okay.
背中の傷の具合はどうだ？
How's your back feeling? They all buried me in an avalanche of questions after I finished the painting.
何か欲しいものはある？
Do you need anything?
酒とタバコ。
Booze and a pack of smokes.
却下。とりあえず簡単に食べられるもの買ってくるわね。
Denied. For starters, I'll go buy you something small to eat. Ray grabbed his coat and wallet and ran out of the building. Unable to bear the intense fatigue, I collapsed onto a nearby bench. Painting always left me feeble, but this time I felt especially awful. Taku crouched down and peered at my face.
大丈夫か？
You okay?
嫌な夢を見た。
I had a bad dream.
夢？
Like a nightmare? He furrowed his brow.
俺は手も足も動かすことができなくて、後ろに誰かが立ってて、ひたすら笑ってる夢だ。
A dream where somebody was standing behind me, laughing, and I couldn't move my body.
誰が立ってたんだ？
Who was it?
わからない。女の笑い声で何度か同じ内容の夢を見た。
I don't know. It sounded like a woman. I feel like I've had this dream a few times before. Every time I had a nightmare, I'd wake up with a racing heart, sweating like a marathon runner. Normally, I never remembered my dreams after I woke up, so it was strange that I would have the same dream over and over. I hated it so much I couldn't bring myself to sleep on the last night of painting. Taku fell silent as if in contemplation.
薬は飲んでたのか？
Did you take your pills, little Miss Insane Guy?
絵を描き始めた時はな。その夢を見るのが嫌で、途中から飲まなくなった。
I did when I first started the painting, but then I kept having that dream, so I stopped.
そうか。調べてみた方がいいかもしれんな。薬の処方も変えよう。
Gotcha. Maybe we should explore that a bit. I'll change your prescription. Just then, the front door opened wide.
ただいま買ってきたわよ。
I'm back! I bought some stuff! Ray ran in, carrying big grocery bags in both hands. He set the bags on the reception counter, then turned back to us, frowning.
あらやだ。トアが今にも死にそうな顔してるのはともかく、タクも相当ひどい顔してるわね。クマがすごいわ。
Oh my god, Toa, you look like you're about to die! And Taku, you don't look too good yourself. Look at those dark circles. He tapped his lower eyelid with his fingers.
そうか？
That bad, huh? Smiling wryly, Taku ran a hand over his cheek and jaw.
そういえば、何か試験でも受けるの？
That reminds me, are you studying for some kind of test?
試験？
What test? He looked back at Ray, puzzled.
だってタク、最近やけに真面目に勉強してるじゃない？昼休みとか、クリニックを閉めた後も一人で黙々と机に向かってるし。
Well, you've been doing a lot of studying lately, right? You're always working at your desk all through your lunch and after the clinics close.
だから新しい資格を取るために試験勉強してるのかなって。
I figured you were trying to get certified in something.
ああ。 まあそうだな。試験か。
Oh, right. That. Certification, huh? Taku hesitated awkwardly and Ray stared at him wide-eyed.
違うの？じゃあ何の勉強？そもそも勉強じゃないとか。
Huh? It's not that? Then what are you studying for? You are studying, right?
いや、自主的にやってるだけだ。
No, just doing some independent research.
そうなんだ。あんまり頑張りすぎないでね。若くないんだから。
What? For fun? Well, don't work yourself too hard. You're not getting any younger, you know.
おい、一言余計だぞ。
Hey, I resembled that remark. Taku donned a melodramatic scowl while Ray laughed and shrugged.
そうだ。とは、とりあえずこれ食べて。
Oh yeah, Toa, here, eat something. Ray grabbed the bags off the reception counter and thrust them at me. They were filled with ready-made snacks like sandwiches and rice balls.
これからお鍋と年越しそばの準備よ。おせちは家で仕込んだやつがあるから年明けに持ってくるわね。
We're going to have hot pot with year-end soba. I made some more elaborate New Year's dishes back at home, so I'll bring those over in a day or two.
鍋？
Hot pot?
そばだけじゃ物足りないじゃない。せっかくだからあったかいお鍋も作ろうと思って。
Well, it won't be very filling if it's just noodles, right? So I figured we could make a nice warm stew while we're at it.
レイは途中でいなくなるけどな。
Except you have to leave partway through, though.
そう。私は店の子たちとカウントダウンパーティーがあるから途中で抜けるわ。あとは2人でごゆっくりってやつよ。
Yep, I'm throwing a countdown party with the Roost Girls, so I'll have to slip out early. You two can have fun.
だったらそれができた時に食べるから。
Well, I'll eat it once it's ready, so.
あのね、カップラーメンじゃあるまいし、今すぐ出てくるわけじゃないのよ。
Look here, mister. This isn't instant ramen or whatever. It's not gonna be ready in a couple minutes.
あんた今紙みたいに白い顔色してるんだから一刻も早く栄養をとってちょうだい。
You literally look like a ghost right now, so you need to get some vitamins in you. Ray put one hand on his hip and pointed squarely in my face with the other.
とわもたくも正月はおとなしく休んでなさい。
You and Taku both need to get some freaking rest over New Year's. After nagging me like a mother, his eyes widened in realization.
あ、そうだ。とわの絵見てこなきゃ。描き終わったのよね。
Oh, that's right. I haven't seen your painting. You finished it, right?
ああ。
Yeah.
やだ、すっごく楽しみ。写真撮ってブログに投稿してもいい？
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Can I take pics and post them on the blog? He was referring to Roost's blog, the fourth face. I nodded and he strolled off to the elevator.
今回はどんな感じなのかしら。
I wonder what it looks like this time. I figured I'd go back to my apartment with him, so I rose to my feet, but then my vision pitched sideways.
とわ。
Taku reached out, caught me before I hit the floor. Apparently, my body was even weaker than I realized.
レイが言ってたことは間違ってないな。とりあえず何か食べた方がいい。
Looks like Ray was right. For now, let's get some food in you. He sighed in aspiration. As I returned to the bench, I looked at the grocery bag sitting nearby. I didn't feel hungry, but my body needed the energy.
正月は俺もこっちに泊まるからのんびりしよう。
I'll stay here for New Year, so let's both kick back and relax. Taku lived in a condo separate from the clinic, but he slept here every now and then. Since I never used the bed in my apartment, he would crash there occasionally. Evidently, he was planning to stay through the holidays this time. Sure. I nodded, then reached into the bag and grabbed a sandwich at random. In a blink, Ray tidied up the mess I'd created while I was painting. Then midnight rolled around as we sat around the hot pot he made for us. The pale soy milk broth filled the room with warmth as it bubbled. Taku cracked the tab on his third beer and raised it in my direction, his cheeks faintly flushed.
明けましておめでとう。
Happy New Year!
おめでとう。
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
今年もよろしく。
Let's make it another good one. Likewise, I raised my whiskey bottle, then brought it to my lips. He set his can on the coffee table, leaned forward, and stirred the contents of the pot.
もうだいぶ食べたな。にしても豆乳鍋なんて洒落てるよな。レイらしいっちゃらしいが、俺ならただの水炊きになってるな。
We really demolished this, huh? Gotta say, soy milk broth is pretty boopy. But I guess that's Ray's style. Me, I would've used regular water. He scooped up some vegetables and put them in his own bowl, then looked at me.
お前にしちゃ結構食べた方なんじゃないか?
You actually ate a decent amount this time.
まあ。
I guess. Still, only 1/5 of the amount he ate.
鍋は食べやすくていいよな。お前好き嫌いはあったか?
Hot pot's nice because it's not too heavy. Do you have preferences for this kind of thing?
特別嫌いなものはないな。
Meh, I don't especially dislike much.
で、特別好きなものもないと。
Nor do you especially like much.
ああ。
Yup. He rolled his eyes at me and laughed.
絵を描き終わった後で体が弱ってるだろうから、食べやすい鍋は正解だったな。
I imagine you're still weak from all that painting, so clearly hot pot was the right call. Taku grabbed a big bite of veggies with his chopsticks and stuffed it in his mouth. Taku didn't approve of euphoria, but he didn't outright try to stop me, nor did he nag me endlessly. I enjoyed our current relationship. Whoa there! Right as he reached out to the can on the table, he missed and knocked it over. Reflectively, I reached out to try to catch it. My hand bumped into his. Instantly, Taku froze, startled. He managed to catch the can, but a bit of its contents had splashed out onto the table.
悪い、こぼれちまったな。ティッシュ取ってくれるか?
Sorry, party foul. Could you get me a tissue? I pulled a few tissues from the box and handed them over. With a guilty smile, he wiped up his spill. Was Taku's face flushed because of the alcohol? I'd rarely ever seen him in this state.
酔っ払ってる?
Are you drunk?
Huh?
Oh?
顔が赤い.
Your face is red.
そりゃあ、まあな。
Well, I mean, a little. It's not like the hand touch made me all flustered and awakened my inner maiden. Yeah. Taku fell still for a moment, then donned a stiff smile for some reason. After he wiped up the spilled beer, he downed the rest of the can and exhaled loudly.
少し寝てから初詣に行くか。体調はどうだ？動けそうか？
Let's get some sleep, then head for the shrine Hatsumode. How you feeling? Up for a walk? Sure. I normally had no interest in food, but apparently my body needed nutrients regardless. After eating, I was feeling a lot less exhausted.
じゃ、レイにも連絡しとこう。行くなら合流したいって言ってたからな。
Yay, we're going to the shrine with Mom and Dad. Let's go. Well, I guess I'll contact Ray. He did say he would want to come with us. He tapped around his phone, then switched off the portable burner.
鍋は起きたら片付けるから置いとくぞ。
I'll clean the pot in the morning, so I'll leave it here for now. Cool. He gathered all the trash in a togo bag and got up to toss it in the trash can. Afterwards, he walked straight to the bed.
それじゃ、おやすみ。
Alright, good night. He flopped down on the bed and almost immediately started snoring. I was tempted to get some shut-eye myself, but I couldn't will myself to feel sleepy. And if I took sleeping pills, I wouldn't be waking up until noon at the earliest. In the end, I decided to lay awake until morning. After Taku woke up around 7, the two of us got dressed, then we piled into his car and drove into the shrine. We were going to meet up with Ray at some point, but then he sent us a message in the group chat claiming he was too hungover from the countdown party last night. Since it was New Year's Day, unsurprisingly, the streets were packed. The one shrine in Shinkomi was already a popular spot for residents and tourists alike, so we had to wait over an hour to get into the parking lot. At least this looks better than the shrine. Yeah. After we finally parked, we got out and walked to the shrine on foot. Food stands were packed in tightly, and as were the crowds. We felt like cattle slowly trudging forward. Another hour later, we arrived at the temple. Goaded on by the visitors behind us, I put a donation in the offering box and pressed my hands together.
神社は二礼二拍一礼だぞ。
You're supposed to bow twice, clap twice, then bow once. Taku criticized me from the sidelines after he finished his turn, but I shrugged it off.
大事なのは形式じゃなくて気持ちだろ。
It's the thought that counts.
気持ちを込めたって？お前が？
Oh yeah? You put a lot of thought into it, huh?
俺なりに。
Sure, in my own way. Smirking, he fixed me a playful, skeptical look.
神様なんて信じてないだろう、お前。
Buddy, I know you don't believe in any god.
俺が信じようと信じまいと、いるもんはいるんじゃないのか。
I mean, if he really exists, he'll hear me whether I believe in him or not. He sighed in aspiration, then laughed. At the gift shop, we bought a talisman, then decided to check out the stands on our way out. According to Taku, he always chose a food stand based on its vibe. Supposedly, this was the secret to festival food, since it added extra flavor. Since the main pathway was clogged with crowds, we took a side path. Wow. This path was narrower and with fewer stands, but at least there were room to breathe. Yaki! Takoyaki, let's go! I haven't heard of these snacks before. Besides for the first one. As we walked along, I spotted a familiar trio near the main pathway. It was Kotaro, Mayu, and Eiji. Mayu was gazing out at the crowd, looking bored. That is, until he spotted me.
Ah, Towa da!
Oh, it's Towa!
Oh?
Oh, hey!
Towa-san!
Hello, Towa-san.
They all called out to me as they walked over.
新年明けましたね。組長のことがあるので挨拶のみになりますが。
Kotaro has so much swagger. With these puffy ass pants. Jesus Christ. And then the illustrator's like, we have to show the nipple here. We have to.
The new year is finally upon us, unfortunately. Given the current circumstances with the leader, we'll have to keep it brief.
今年もよろしくね。
Let's have more fun this year!
いろいろと世話になるぜ。
I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot of me. Kotaro smirked, then he put an arm around my shoulders, gave me a pat, then let go.
村瀬先生、今年もよろしくです。
We hope to have your continued support this year, Dr. Murasei.
ああ、よろしく。
Oh, yeah, sure, likewise. Taku reacted blandly with a polite smile.
3人揃って初詣か。
You three celebrating Hatsumode together?
ええ、どうしようか迷ったんですけど、一応来るだけ来ようって思って。
Yes, we weren't sure what our plans were, but in the end, we figured we'd stop by.
小太郎は毎年来るの嫌がるんだけどね。エイジがどうしてもって言うから。
Kotaro always complains about it every year, but Eiji insisted.
なんで混んでるところにわざわざ行かなきゃいけねえんだよ。それに寒いし。
Why would we go someplace that's already hella crowded? I'm freezing my dick off.
寒いのは間違いないね。
It is definitely cold out here. Yeah.
着込んでくればいいじゃないですか。
Why? Then why didn't you wear more layers?
やだよ。めんどくせえだろ。
I don't want to have to put on more clothes. It's a hassle.
わざわざそこまでしないよ。
Too much extra work.
Both of them shrugged off Eiji's suggestion.
まあいいですけど、初詣っていろんな人が一斉に集まるので情報もたくさん拾えますし。
Well, whatever. Hatsumode brings people together, so I usually pick up a ton of intel here.
やっぱり来ておかないとって思うんですよ。ね、トワさんもそう思いません？
That's why it's smart to make a trip at least once a year, right, Towa-san? Would you agree?
ああ、まあ。
Yeah, sure. I answered so unenthusiastically, Kotaro burst out laughing.
だよな。トアはそうだよな。エイジ、お前トアに同意求めること自体が間違ってんだ
Yep,
よ。
that's Toa for you. Eiji buddy, if you're looking for somebody who cares, you're barking up the wrong tree.
わかってますよ。でもこの中でかろうじて同意を求められるのってトワさんだけじゃないですか。
Yes, I know. But out of everyone here, Tosan is the only one who might remotely care at all.
ま、そりゃそうね。うんと、
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. Why you laughed so hard he nearly spit out his lollipop.
それじゃあ、俺たちは行きます。トアさん、村瀬先生、また。
Anyway, we'd better be going now. Have a good day, you two.
またな、とは。
See ya, Toa.
ほいじゃ。
See you later. The trio walked past me toward the main shrine area. Taku looked at me with a wiry grin.
あっちの店で甘酒を売ってるんだが、寄ってもいいか？
They're selling amazake at the stand over there. Mind if I grab some?
ああ、
Mike? Sure. Together, the two of us walked to a stand with a sign that read Amazake. Oh, sweet wine? Next to it was a dining area with tables and chairs, but it was already packed.
お前の分はいるか？
What about you? You want some?
いい。
No.
わかった。買ってくるからここで待っててくれ。
Alright, I'll go buy it, so you wait here. We moved to the edge of the table area and watched as Taku got in line for amazake. A few moments later, he weaved his way back through the crowd, carrying a paper cup.
寒いし混んでるし、さすが正月だな。
Cold and crowded. That's New Year's for you. Words left his lips in a white fog as he took a sip of his drink.
あっち。うまい。あったまるな。甘いもんは苦手だが、甘酒だけはいけるんだ。お前も、ほら。
Sorry, my glasses fell off. It's alright, but good. Really warms you up. Not a huge fan of sweet stuff, but I do like amazake. Here, have a sip.
いや、
Pass.
正月くらい、ノリを合わせてくれよ。
Try to have a little fun with me, would you? It's New Year's, for Christ's sake. Grinning, he offered me the cup. I wasn't completely opposed to amazake, so I accepted it, then took a small sip. The hot, sweet, vicious fluid entered my mouth.
どうだ？
How is it?
ダメだったか？
Don't like it?
いや、ただ、酒の味がするのにアルコールじゃないのが理解できない。
It's not that. It's just frustrating. If it tastes like alcohol, then it ought to be alcoholic. This was my honest opinion, but Taku burst out laughing.
当たり前だろ。何言ってんだお前は。
That's just what sake tastes like. Don't be ridiculous, kid. Chuckling, Taku took the cup back and took another sip. Indirect kiss? Ooh.
よし、それじゃ行くか。
Alright, let's get going. So we set off into the flow of the crowd. As we walked down the path, I saw a cluster of people gathering in an open area up ahead. In the center stood Sakaki, chatting amiably and accompanied by Igarashi.
おい、あれって。
Hey, is that?
榊だな。
Yep, it's Sakaki.
親しみやすさをアピールってところか。
Guess he's trying to make himself look like your average relatable guy. Taku muttered quietly to himself as he watched Sakaki chat with the people around him. Over the past few years, the Takasatagumi had worked to improve their reputation with the residents and tourists of the greater Aburo neighborhood. Her efforts included holding a variety of sponsored events, building an accessibility-focused shopping mall, cleaning up the residential streets, and more. Maybe this had an effect on the upper class and tourists, but for the people struggling with poverty every day, nothing changed. Still, Sakaki was probably eager to start taking charge as the next leader of the gang.
あ、トアじゃねえか。
Oh, if it isn't Toa. When he spotted me, Sakaki raised a hand in greeting. Then he and Igarashi walked over.
村瀬先生も。ちーと新年を祝うことはできねえんだが、今年もよろしく。
I thought Igarashi would be smaller. I thought you'd be like up to here. He seems like a small little lad. And Murasai too. Shame we can't celebrate together, but I'll look forward to your support over the coming year.
よろしくお願いします。
Thank you in advance.
Igarashi frequented our clinic as a patient, so Taku and I knew him well.
こちらこそよろしくお願いします。
Likewise, thank you for your patronage.
いやー、本当は来るのをやめようか迷ったんだがな。親父のことがあるからよ。
Honestly, I almost talked myself out of coming here, given what happened to our late leader.
ただまあ、様子を見るだけなら問題ねえかと思ってな。
But then I figured it couldn't hurt to take a quick look.
小太郎たちも似たようなこと言ってた。
When Kotaro and the gang were saying the same thing.
ああ、そうか。みんな考えることは同じなんだな。
Oh, I see. Looks like we're all on the same page then. Sakaki swiftly reached into his jacket pocket. Then he pulled out a thick leather wallet, licked his thumb, and started leafing through the bills.
だったけ、これはトアの分だ。
Yeah, money! Thanks, Papa! I mean, Uncle Sakaki! Thank you! Thank you! That's like, holy shit! That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $500? I wish I had a sugar uncle like this. What the fuck? All of my relatives are dead. Here, this is for you, Toa. He proceeded to hand me 50,000 yen like it was nothing.
いや、
I'll pass.
いいから、ほら。
Just take it. I had no interest in accepting his money, so I kept both my hands in my pocket. Then he pushed the bills against my chest. Reluctantly, I accepted. Yeah, take it! Not everyone has a sugar uncle. Goddamn, I'm unappreciative, asshole. I wish I had a sugar uncle. What the fuck?
こっちは先生の分。あとは、おまけで五十嵐。お前もだ。ついてるな。
Here's some for you too, Doc. Oh, and while I'm at it, Igarashi, you can have some too. Lucky you. Yay! Uncle Sakaki is so nice. Wait, what happened? He offered wads of cash to Taku and Igarashi too. Shit!
おお、マジっすか？いいっすか？やったー！さすが親父太っ腹ー！
That's me, brother. That's me. What? For real? You mean it? Yes! You're always so generous, sir. Igarashi was every bit as shallow as he looked, so naturally he was over the moon. Taku, however, hesitantly shook his head. Hey, bro, I'm broke. I'll take him. What the fuck?
さすがに受け取れません。
No, I couldn't possibly accept this. Yeah, as Taku, if I were Taku, I would feel uncomfortable because Taku is not really related to them. Like, Sakaki kind of was really close to Toa, so it makes sense. But for Taku, he's like an outsider, right?
まあそう言わないでくださいよ先生。今日は一年がこれから始まるという日だ。今日限りだと思って受け取ってください。
Now, now, Doctor, don't be like that. Today's the start of a brand new year. Please, think of it as a one-time investment.
それにこいつはトアの世話をしてくれてる礼の意味もあるんでね。
Besides, it's my way of thanking you for always babysitting Toa. Baby Toa. Baby girl Toa.
主治医なので世話をしているという感覚ではないのですが。
I'm his primary physician, so it doesn't really feel like babysitting. My physician doesn't do this. What the fuck?
お言葉に甘えさせていただきます。
But since you insist, I humbly accept. Taku wasn't the type who could say no to something like that. He accepted the money even more reluctantly than I had.
そこに出てる餅は食ったか？なかなかうまかったぞ。
Have you had the mochi they're selling over there? It's pretty good. No, I haven't. Can I have some, please?
ああ、俺買ってきます。
I'll go buy some. Can I have some? Without waiting for me or Taku to respond, Igarashi ran off like the lapdog he was. Mochi! Sakaki watched him go with a smile.
あいつ頭があんまり良くねえが心根はまっすぐだからな。どうにもほっとけねえんだ。
He's not too bright, but his heart's in the right place. Makes me want to look out for him.
犬に似てる。
Like a stray dog?
そうなんだよ。バカで容量悪くてよく失敗するんだがよ。尻尾を振ってまたりつかれると邪険にできなくてな。ついつい餌やっちまう。
Ha! You could say that. He's stupid and slow and always screws up, but whenever he wags his tail at me, I can't possibly shut him out in the cold. Inevitably, I feed him. He nodded to himself like a wise old grandfather, then someone's phone started ringing.
俺だな。ちょっと失礼。
Oh, that's me. One moment. He pulled his cell phone out of his jacket pocket and pulled it to his ear.
どうした？あ？どっからだ？そうだ。
What is it? Yeah? What? From where? I see. I watched in real time as his face slowly grew harder and darker.
わかった。そっちは任せる。
Alright, yeah, I'll leave that to you. Right. Once the call was over, he looked back at us, still menacing.
急に戻りの用ができちまった。正月早々ついてねえわ。餅は五十嵐からもらってくれ。
It would appear something's come up. This year's off to a lousy start. Enjoy the mochi of Igarashi. And with that, he strode away.
困ったもんだ。
Oh, brother. Taku let out a sigh, then he handed me the money Sakaki had given him.
酒でも買え。
Here, booze money.
いや。
Thank you so much! Wah! Nah, But before I could finish, he stuffed the money into my coat pocket. Thank you! When I tried to give it back, I realized Taku was frozen in place, looking at something up ahead. A man in a suit was walking towards us. It was Tono. He was accompanied by another man I didn't recognize, but his calm, dignified air suggested he wasn't Takasato-kun. Then Tono noticed us and made a beeline straight to us. I was still holding the money from Taku, so for the time being, I put it back in my pocket.
これは村瀬先生とトアじゃないか。
Well, if it isn't Dr. Murasei and Toa. He smiled, speaking in a courteous tone. Taku looked back at him in silence. His smoke hadn't changed, but I could feel a hint of tension in the air.
親父のことは残念だが、新しい年を迎えたわけだし、お互いにそろそろ本気を出していかないとな。いろいろと。
Shame about the boss, but since it's the start of the new year, I figured it's time we all started taking this seriously. In more ways than one. He regarded me with a meaningful look.
とは、お前村瀬先生にずっと厄介になるつもりなのか？なんならこっちで腕の良い医者を紹介してやるぞ。
So, are you planning to be a burden on Dr. Murasei for the rest of your life? I could introduce you to a very talented doctor, you know.
いい。
I'm good.
別に村瀬先生にこだわる必要もないんだろ。
I hardly see why you should commit to Dr. Murasei.
タクでいい。
I'm good with Taku.
迷惑をかけるだけのわがままになってるんじゃないのか？
Have you considered that your selfishness is nothing but trouble for him? Taku looked at me in surprise, then turned back to Tono.
迷惑だと思ったことはないから、今のままで構わん。
I've never thought of him as a trouble. I'm fine with the way things are. At this, Tono exhaled like he was done caring.
そうか。ならいいんだ。それじゃ、また。
Alright, whatever you say. Well then, I'll be seeing you. What? It's him! It's the lawyer! This Root! He's like, gonna be the final Root. Holy! With that Brisque farewell, he set off, and the other man followed close behind him.
こういう大々的な行事の時は、どこに行っても高里組が総出でうろうろしてるな。
Anytime there is some big event, the place is always crawling with Takasato thugs. Taku looked at me as he murmured quietly.
前にも言ったが、高里組とはあまり付き合うなよ。
Like I said before, you gotta stay away from him. He loved to nag me about this. Probably because he didn't have a high opinion of the Takasato Gumi. And he especially didn't get along with Tomo. Taku downed his now cold amazake, then walked up to the nearest trash can and threw away the cup.
すみません、お待たせしました。
Sorry I took so long, but I'm back now. Just then, a flurry of loud footsteps heralded the return of Igarashi, carrying chopsticks and a plastic takeout tray of mochi in each hand.
安倍川と磯辺と醤油、とりあえず全部買ってきました。ってあれ？榊さんは？
Wow. They had Abakawa mochi, Izabe mochi, and Matsuyama shoyu mochi, so I bought some of each. Wait, what the? Where's Sakaki-san?
帰ったぞ。
He left.
マジっすか？
What? Are you for real? With a yelp, he thrust the chopsticks and mochi containers at us.
ああ、これどうぞ。じゃあまた。榊さん！
Here, like these. I gotta go. Sakaki-san! Then he ran off into the crowd. With a chuckle, Taku watched him go. Just like that, the tension eased.
なんていうか、本当に犬みたいだな。
You know, I think you're right. That there's a little dog.
俺が知り合った頃からずっとあんな感じだ。
He's been like that for as long as I've known him.
ほっとけないってのもわかる気がするな。ま、ほっとけないのはお前も同じだが。
I can see how Sakaki would want to look after him, just like I always end up looking after you, because you're my little puppy, you're my little doggy, you're my little kitten, my little baby girl.
犬と一緒か？
You... Are you comparing me to that?
性格と見た目が違うだけで大きくくくればそうかもな。
Huh. You don't look or act like him, but maybe in the general sense. He looked down at the mochi containers and smiled.
この餅、せっかくだからあったかいうちに食べようぜ。人が少ないところへ行こう。ちなみにお前、この中じゃどの餅が好きなんだ？
We may as well make the most of these free mochi and eat it while it's hot. Let's find someplace less crowded. Which of these flavors do you like the best?
どれでも。
And he's fine. Taku slumped his shoulders in aspiration.
じゃあ俺は磯辺と醤油を食べるからお前は安倍川担当な。この安倍川結構砂糖が多そうだからな。
Well then, I'll take the isobe and shoyu, so you're in charge of the abekawa. It looks like it probably has the most sugar of the three.
全部は無理。
I can't eat all of them.
分かってるよ。
I know. We stepped off the path in search of somewhere quieter. After we ate our mochi, we decided it was time to head back to the clinic, so we made our way to the parking lot where we left the car. As we walked through the crowded path, Taku spotted something in the distance and frowned. I followed his gaze and spotted a little boy yelling excitedly to his parents. Maybe Taku was thinking about Hayato. The little boy was about Hayato's age, after all. Maybe it reminded him of what happened with Asakura. I had no intention of bringing it up again, so I shifted my gaze back to the crowd. Beyond the countless people praying to find happiness in the year ahead, I could see a tall tower looming distantly. But this was no radio tower. No, it was a surveillance tower used by the Takusato Gumi to ensure none of their debtors tried to flee Shinkomi. This shot looked so menacing. The surveillance towers. The surveillance towers track the movements of the web tags forcibly implanted in them, and anyone who tried to escape was either arrested or killed. No matter how happy the shrine visitors may have looked on the outside, any number of them could be in debt. Just then I realized Taku was gone. He must have gone separated while I was distracted by the surveillance tower. But before I could start walking, someone grabbed my arm from behind.
Oh.
I turned to find Taku standing there, looking frightened.
気をつけろよ。はぐれたら危ない。
You have to pay attention. It's not safe for you to go wandering around without me. My baby kitten, my baby girl, my sweetums. This made me laugh.
どうした？
What?
俺のこといくつだと思ってるんだよ。
How old do you think I am, pal?
いくつになってもお前はフラフラしてるからな。
Doesn't matter. You might have grown up, but you haven't stopped wandering off.
だったらなおさらはぐれたところでいつもと変わらないだろ。
Then what does it matter if we get separated?
お前の場合、 ちょっと目を離した隙に道端で倒れてたとしても不思議じゃない。
In your case, half the time I turn around and find you. Half the time, I'll turn around and find you passed out in the damn gutter. His expression was dead serious, so I decided to give in. Times like these, Taku was always stubbornly overprotective of me. Dad, come on! Side by side, once more, we headed off to the parking lot.
ああ、そういやな。今年から診療時間を変えようと思ってるんだ。
That reminds me, I'm thinking of changing the clinic's hours this year.
何時？
Do what?
開始時間は変わらん。終了時間を午前1時から0時に変えようと思ってる。
I'm thinking we'll still open at the same time, but we'll close at midnight instead of 1 a.m.
1時間か。大して変わった感じがしないな。
Just 1 hour difference? That's no big deal.
そうでもないぞ。それに俺も不在にすることが増えるかもしれん。最悪臨時休業になる。
You'd be surprised. Oh, and I might start taking more time off from now on. Worst case scenario, we may have to temporarily close the clinic.
なんで？
How come?
忙しいんだよ。
I'm busy.
新しい勉強？
If you're studying? At this, Taku averted his gaze and nodded. Yeah. His response was vague at best, but I didn't intend to keep digging. So instead, I walked on in silence. Count me times, A to Z. Happy New Year. Ah! Fuck. 5 days later. The festive spirit still lingered in the air as the winter holidays officially came to an end. Like all the rest, Mercy Clinic was once again open for business. Ray and Arimura walked in and started getting things prepared.
そういえば診療時間が変わったんですよね。
So come to think of it, the clinic hours have changed, haven't they? Arimura amused himself as he passed me in the waiting room.
不満？
Is that a bad thing?
いえ。ただ
No, it's just...
最近先生が疲れているような気がして。診察室の先生の机も散らかっていることが多いので。
Demerse seems pretty exhausted lately. I noticed his exam room desk has been a complete mess. Without a single glance at me, he continued down the hall. I was under the impression that Taku's messy desk was nothing new, but maybe it had gotten bad enough for Arimura to take notice. With that thought in my mind, I took a seat behind the reception counter. I couldn't care less about the holidays. Taku had woken me up early that morning and I felt like shit. But even when I slept in, I always experienced chronic illness this time of year. For some inexplicable reason, I always felt sick during the winter holidays. Even Taku couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, so he concluded that I had some sort of seasonal or psychosomatic thing. Could be trauma. At lunchtime, Ray invited me out to a diner. Wow! A date? Taku was invited too, but he told us he was too busy to come.
忙しいのはわかるけど、年明け早々からちょっと根詰めすぎだと思わない？
I get he's busy or whatever, but I wish he'd relax a little. The year's only just started, you know. Ray grumbled, pouting his lips as he scraped up the last bite of his seafood gratin with his spoon.
まあ休み明けって患者さんが殺到するから確かに忙しいんだけどね。
To be fair, there are always a ton of patients at the start of the year, so I totally get it.
だからって昼休みを返上してまで診察するっていうのは熱心だけど個人的にちょっとどうかなって思うのよね。
But if he's spending his lunch break to fit in more appointments, I know he cares about his work, but it's no good for his own personal health.
っていうかタクなんだかすごくがむしゃらに見えるんだけど正月に何かあった？
Like, he seemed super stressed out to me. Did something happen over New Year's?
何も。
Nope. I sipped my coffee, then shook my head. Placed in front of me was a bowl of bean soup Ray had ordered in my behalf.
今年から診療時間も1時間短縮だしそんなに勉強が忙しいの？タクが何の勉強してるか聞いてる？
And now I find out he's shortened the clinic hours? Is he really that busy? And what is he even studying? Did he tell you?
いや、
Nope.
本当に大丈夫かしら？
あ、すみません。デザートお願いします。
I'm really not sure he's doing okay. Oh, excuse me, could I order dessert? After he finished his gratin, he flagged down a passing waitress to order something else. Then he went back to scowling at me.
タクって優しいしおおらかだけど時々線引きをしてるように感じるのよね。
Taku's a really kind guy, generous guy, but sometimes it feels like he's holding us at arm's length.
こっちが突っ込まない限り向こうも突っ込んでこないっていうかまあそれが心地いい距離感にもなってるんだけど。
It's like, if we don't ask questions, then he won't ask us any questions either. Then again, I do like the relationship we have right now.
今度真面目に何の勉強してるのか聞いてみようかな。
I guess I should try and ask him flat out what he's studying. He took a sip of his iced cafe au latte, then propped his chin on his elbow and sighed.
頑張るのが悪いとは言わないけど医者が自分自身を大事にしないなんて説得力ないわよね。
I'm not saying self-improvement is bad or anything like that, but how can you call yourself a doctor if you won't even take care of yourself? Just then, the waitress returned carrying Ray's dessert. Instantly, his face brightened.
来たー！いちごヨーグルトサンデー！
It's here! My strawberry frozen yogurt sundae! His grumpy scowl was nothing a thing of the past. He grabbed his spoon without missing a beat.
冷たくて美味しい。
It's so cold and yummy! I watched him warily as I sipped my lukewarm coffee. I want one too.
1月によくそんなもの食べる気になるな。
I'm amazed you can eat that stuff in the middle of January. Hey, shut the fuck up! There's no season for ice cream, bitch. Ice cream is a whole year thing. Thank you very much.
どんなに寒くても甘いものは別なの。暖房のガンガン効いた部屋で食べるアイスとか最高じゃない？
The weather's irrelevant when it comes to sweets. There's nothing better than eating frozen treats in a toasty warm room.
どうだか。
If you say so. I grabbed the pack of cigs off the table, pulled one out, and lit it up. Instantly, Ray scowled.
また食事中にタバコ吸ってる。
Quit smoking it. Oh, quit smoking in the middle of a meal.
もうデザートだからいいだろ。
You're having dessert. The meal's practically over.
私にとってはデザートがメインなの。でも年越しから年明けにかけて少し太っちゃったのよね。お餅が美味しくてついつい。
For me, dessert is the main course. In fact, I've put on a little weight over the holidays. Couldn't stop eating mochi. He averted his eyes sadly as he stirred his sundae.
で、それを食べるのか？
And yet, you're still gonna eat that?
だからカロリー控えめのいちごヨーグルトサンデーにしたのよ。わかるでしょ？
Think? Why do you think I chose the low-calorie strawberry frozen yogurt sundae? Isn't it obvious? I don't think it makes much of a difference. I thought frozen yogurt was just for the lactose intolerant people.
全然。
Nope. I shook my head, then turned away from him to exhale the smoke. He glared back at me, then took a bite.
ねえ、急に話が変わるんだけどさ。
Hey, so on a totally unrelated note. With a tense look on his face, he set his spoon down and leaned across the table to whisper.
あの人、わかる？新聞読んでる人。
Do you know that person? The one reading the newspaper? I followed Ray's gaze to the counter where a man sat reading the paper. Yet it spread out so widely I couldn't see his face.
あの人とはの知り合い？
Is he a friend of yours?
いや、
No.
さっきね、新聞の影からこっちを見てたのよ。私が気づいたらすぐに新聞を読むふりに戻ったけど、その後もまたチラチラ見てたの。
Well, he keeps peeking at us from behind the paper. When I look back at him, he went straight back to reading. But he's still been glancing at us.
何なのかしら。ストーカ
What's his deal? Is he a stalker? I scrutinized the man at the counter, but he never looked up from his paper, then rose to his feet, paid his bill, and left the diner.
ー？どうしよう。すごいこと思いついちゃった。
Oh my god. I just had the most amazing thought. Ray looked at me, his eyes wide in realization. At some point, while I wasn't looking, he had completely polished off his sundae.
私を一目見ようと追ってきた熱烈なファンだったりして。
What if he's a big fan of mine who came in to sneak a peek at me?
ねえ、ねえ、どう思う？
Well, what do you think? Well, he was clearly joking. I could tell a part of him was hoping to get some sort of reaction out of me. But I had no interest in playing along. With a sigh, I set my cigarette on the ashtray and sipped my coffee.
ねえ、ちょっと一言でいいから何か言いなさいよ。じゃないと私がバカみたいじゃない。もう。
Hello? Could you please just say something? Otherwise you're gonna make me look like an idiot! God! Grumbling, he grabbed my utterly untouched bean soup and started eating it out of spite. っていうか、ちゃんと食べないと冗談抜きで死ぬわよ、あんた。Seriously, if you don't start eating right, you're gonna literally die. I'm not joking.
いつもお前の手料理は食べてるだろ。
I always eat the food you make, don't I?
何よ、私に毎日作れっていうの？食べてくれるのは嬉しいけど、なんだか複雑だわ。
What? So you want me to cook for you every single day? Flattering, but I don't know how I feel about that. Don't worry. During our route, there'll be a reality. Ignoring his catty remarks, I finished my coffee. More importantly, who was that man just now? If Ray was to be believed, then he was watching us for some reason. And it wouldn't be the first time a Euphoria fan stalked me. In that case, it would mean he was watching me. Well, Ray is a big artist too. No, maybe I'm overthinking it. It was entirely possible the man wasn't even looking at us on purpose. As I ruminated on it, I picked up my cigarette and took a long drag. At the end of lunch, we were back at the clinic, and the afternoon shift began. The patients waiting outside all filled in, filling the benches in the lobby. As I quietly carried out my receptionist duties, the flow of patients slowed to a halt. 10 minutes went by without any word, so I dialed the extension for the exam room, but nobody picked up. I set my phone back down on the cradle, then left my seat. I walked down the hall to the exam room, but right before I opened it, I froze. I could hear Taku talking inside.
ああ、それは、そうだ。ああ、
Yeah. Well, it's... Exactly. Yeah.
いや、まだだ。そう簡単にはいかない。時間がかかる。わかってる。
No, not yet. It's not that simple. It's gonna take time. Yeah, I know. Apparently he was on the phone. His voice was a low whisper and it sounded serious. I couldn't tell who he was talking to or what it was about.
待ってくれ。わかった。それじゃ、仕事に戻る。
Just give me some time, please. Alright. I gotta get back to work. Then I heard a heavy sigh. Evidently, the phone call was over. I opened the door to the exam room.
どうか。
Oh, Toa. He looked at me with tired eyes.
内線かけたんだけど、電話中だったんだな。
I tried to call you just now, but I guess the line was busy.
ああ、ちょっと急用でな。すまん。
Yeah, something came up. Sorry. He averted his gaze, rubbing the back of his head. Hand. This, plus what I overheard, suggested it wasn't a fun phone call. His smoke swayed erratically.
根の詰めすぎで心配だってさ。
You know, people are worried that you're getting too stressed.
何の話だ？
Huh? People like who?
昼にレイが言ってた。お前を心配してる。
Ray, earlier at lunch, he's worried about you. His lips curled in a guilty smile.
そうか。だが大丈夫だ。こう見えても医者だからな。自分の限界はわきまえてる。
Gotcha. Well, I'm doing just fine, okay? I'm a doctor for Christ's sake. I know my limits.
勉強ってのも具体的に何をやってるのか知りたがってた。
He wants to know what exactly you're studying.
って言われてもな。説明したところでわからんだろう。
I don't know what else he expects me to say. It's not something he's gonna be familiar with.
直接聞くってさ。
Well, he said he's going to ask you.
そうか。
Right. He looked away, nodding. Whatever he was working on, he didn't seem to want to discuss it.
そんなに話したくないことなのか。
So you can't talk about it, or... He looked at me, perplexed.
まあ、そうかもな。さっきも言った通り、 説明してもわからんだろ。
Well, not really. Like I said, it's not easy to explain.
じゃあ、レイにそう言ってやれ。
Then tell that to Ray.
な。
Yeah, I will. As he murmured vaguely, I left the exam room. The Taku I knew was an honest, straightforward guy, and he sucked at hiding things. This was the first time he'd ever tried to hide something that wasn't a fun surprise. Not only that, but there had to be something behind all the studying Ray was concerned about. I had known Taku for a long time, but that didn't mean I knew all there was to know about him. Human beings were complex creatures. It wouldn't surprise me to learn there were more to him than just honest and straightforward. And if he did have a secret side, honestly, I was curious to see it myself. If there was a side of him that neither Ray nor I had discovered.
お前こそ偽善が板についてるよ。
Likewise, I see you're right at home in your own hypocrisy. Hypocrisy.
大学時代からしてまともな医者になれるとは思ってなかった。
Ever since college, I never once believed he would turn out to be a decent doctor.
異常者だ。
He's a freak. My curiosity was ever so faintly piqued. That evening, the front doors flew open and pure chaos stormed in.
ちょっと休館よ。
Help! Emergency patient! Ray staggered in, dragging a man who could barely keep himself upright. This came as something of a surprise since Ray had only just left to deliver a forgotten item to a patient.
とはタクに行ってきて。五十嵐くんよ。
Go tell Taku. It's Igarashi-kun. Sure enough, I could recognize Igarashi's face through all the swelling. I rose to my feet, left the receptionist counter, and headed to the exam room.
いってって。
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa!
額の傷が少し大きいが、縫うほどじゃないな。他の傷も大丈夫だろう。
The cuts on your forehead's pretty big, but nothing I can't sew up. The rest look like they'll be okay without sutures. While Taku worked to swiftly treat his patient, Igarashi grimaced, possibly from the sting of the disinfectant. His clothing was torn here and there.
よし、終わったぞ。で、喧嘩したって？
There, all done. So you say you were in a fight? Once he finished bandaging Igarashi's arm, Taku looked back at him with a mixture of sympathy and knowing amusement.
俺のせいじゃないんすよ。なんか街歩いてたら急に因縁ふっかけられて。
I swear.
それで。
I swear, it's not my fault. I was just walking through town when a group of guys picked a fight with me. Igarashi bit his lip in frustration.
しかも向こうは5人だったんすよ。勝てるわけないじゃないすか。もうされるがままにボッコボコですよ。
And there were 5 of them, man. I didn't stand a chance, so of course I had to take my lumps.
そしたらレイさんが助けてくれて、本当に命拾いしました。
Then Ray-san came and rescued me. Honestly, he saved my life. Oh yeah, Ray can beat the shit out of people. Nearby, Ray folded his arms inside.
さっき患者さんの忘れ物を届けに行ったじゃない。その帰りよ。
You know how I went out after the patient who left her stuff behind? I found him on the way back.
喧嘩に巻き込まれたくないから通り過ぎようとしたら五十嵐くんが見えて慌てて止めに入ったの。
I was going to stay out of it, but then I spotted Igarashi-kun getting his shit kicked and ran in there to stop it.
本当にありがとうございました。
Thank you so much. Igarashi turned to Rei and bowed deeply. In return, Rei hastily waved both hands.
いいのよ、気にしないで。でも因縁ふっかけられたなんて災難だったわね。
Literally fine. God, what a nightmare. Why would they pick a fight with you? At this, Igarashi's expression darkened.
最近組がちょっと荒れてるんすよ。みんな殺気立ってる感じで。そのせいなんじゃないすかね。
Lately, the gang's a total mess, man. Everybody is out for blood. I think that's probably the reason.
荒れてるの？どうして？
What's wrong with the gang?
まあ、いろいろあって。妙な噂が流れたりとか、そういうので上の人たちがピリピリしてるんすよ。
Well, a lot of stuff. There's been weird rumors going around, and it's got the top dogs freaked out.
そのとばっちりが下にも広がってるっていうか。
So now it's like the tension's trickling down to the guys on the lower rungs.
榊さんが次の組長確定ってことで、納得いかない奴らもやっぱりいるんすよね。
Saki sounds basically a shoo-in to be the next leader, but of course, some folks aren't happy with that.
特に遠野さん側の連中とかそうなんで、そのうち組を離れるんじゃないかって思ってます。
Especially Tono-san and his posse. I'm thinking they might break off into their own gang.
なるほどね。
Oh, I see.
お前たちも一言じゃないぞ。いつどこで何に巻き込まれるかわからんからな。十分に気をつけろよ。
This involves more than just the Takusato Gumi, you know. Any of you could get dragged into something at any given moment, so keep your wits about you. Igarashi nodded intently.
そうっすね。もし何かあったら言ってください。俺で役に立ちそうなことがあったら何でもするんで。
Right. If you ever need anything, let me know. I'll help with whatever I can.
助かるよ。だが、その怪我を治すのが先だな。3日くらい経ったらまた店に来てくれ。
I appreciate it, but let's get these cuts healed up first. Give it about 3 days, then come back and see me again.
はいせ。
Yes, sir. He gave Taku a firm salute and smacked his injury in the process, making him grimace. Taku and Rei both laughed. The antics were so damn dog-like, even I smiled a tiny bit. Oh. Slow damage. Where am I? My ears were ringing. The scenery rippled like a heat haze, and I couldn't recognize anything. The world was distorted, like I was squinting through warped glass. Scarlet light reflected in all directions, casting a red tint. I struggled to get my fuzzy brain to focus. At the very least, I could tell I wasn't at my clinic. Oh, where am I? I squinted at the scenery, rippling like the surface of a lake. I could sense a lot of people, buzzing with energy. Shadow swayed against the wall, silhouetted by the light. Then I realized my ears weren't actually ringing. As the drones grew louder and louder, I recognized it as the sound of people talking. I couldn't understand what they were saying. The voices were all overlapped with each other. Discordant harmony beating against my eardrums. Drone of the voices kept swelling and swelling until it was a cacophony of screams. At some point, the scarlet light turned to fluid, raining down on me. The shadowy figures against the walls had vanished. Suddenly, a chill ran down my spine, like the icy tongue of a monster. Goosebumps prickled up along my back. Then, all sound ceased. Silence. Terrifyingly silence. Someone was standing behind me. For some reason, I sensed it was a woman, even though I couldn't see her. She stood behind me without speaking a word. Who is she? Who is this woman? I think it's his mom. Slowly but surely, I looked over my shoulder. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see her delicate chin. But that was all I could see of her. My head felt like it was held in place by some kind of torture device. All I could see was her mouth. Her scarlet lipstick filled my mind. And then, those lips slowly curled into a smile. I awoke, gasping for breath. My heart was pounding 1,000,000 miles a minute. Choking, I gulped for air. I was in the middle of winter, but yet my whole body was slick with sweat. Almost like I'd risen up from the ocean depths. I sat up and glanced around. Apparently I had dozed off on the sofa. What a shitty dream. That mystery woman and her red lipstick. I reached down, grabbed the floor bottle, and took a swig. Normally I could drink it like water, but the moment the lukewarm fluid hit the back of my throat, I felt sick. I dropped the bottle, got up, and hurtled into the bathroom. Then, after I emptied the contents of my stomach into the toilet, I collapsed on the spot. I felt weak. This was decidedly different from my usual poor health. Was it because of that awful, confusing nightmare? Creepy dreams were pretty common whenever I floated in and out of consciousness, but none of them ever made me outright ill. Well, I closed my eye and sat there until my racing pulse calmed down. Then I slowly rose to my feet, walked to the sink, and gargled some water. While I was at it, I ran the cold water over my head, then grabbed a towel and dried myself off as I walked back to the sofa. I grabbed my cell phone off the table. It was just past 8 p.m. I had received 2 emails, one of which was Eiji's newsletter, so I decided to check the other one first. It was from Asakura. Inside, he thanked me and explained that his dark desire had been sated. Now that it was over, he was fully confident he had no sexual interest in children. Woo! Yay! Personally, I had no interest in revisiting the past. I closed the email and navigated to the newsletter. Shinkomi Times, A to Z. Today's issue, Dr. Scandals, investigating the doctor at T Medical Office, M Clinic, the dark truth behind its disappearing patients. S General Hospital, the doctor who gropes his female nurses. Today's issue, Dr. Scandals, investigating the doctors at T Medical Office. There's a rumor going around about the doctor at T Medical Office. Sources say that he's once caught touching little kids in the no zone. We interviewed a former colleague for a scoop. Holy shit. What's up, my hero? My hero! This time the topic was centered on gossip about doctors, Taku included. Oh no. Oh no. Please don't touch the little kids in their no zone. No. Sakura was one thing, but frankly, I was surprised to see that there were unsavory rumors about Taku too. What? Oh. After all, he had a flawless reputation with the patients and locals. Maybe AG had concocted a ridiculous rumor of his own to fill the void. Wow, it's shitty. Stupid! I closed the newsletter and rose from the sofa. After that awful dream, I decided to go for a walk and clear my head. I pulled on my coat and stuffed my phone into my pocket. Guess I'll wander around for a bit. Guess I will. Maybe I might end it here, cause my stomach feels like it's gonna explode. Yeah. Sorry, I got diarrhea real bad, so thank you. Thank you all for coming, including you, my hero, but I am going to end it here. Ciao ciao for now.